See you later.
Stop picking. You seriously are like messing out. Stop.
Okay, well, I started recording there. So how about we do the claps?
Hi guys, I'm Corey's sister, who's apparently a meth head.
Oh, well, we haven't done introductions yet.
It's pretty methy around here.
This is already a great episode. All right,
Yeah.
do we even bother?
Do it.
Okay, then 3, 2, 1. All right, that's
Solid.
That's the claps. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pixel Venture Podcast. My name is Corey.
And I'm Jake.
And today we have two special guests who decided to talk while I was getting the recording started. Introduce yourselves.
I am Lori, and I am Corey's birth mother.
I'm Whitney, and I'm Corey's sister.
And we're in the same room today, so Jake, have fun editing over everyone talking over each other.
Oh, I will.
Are you sure?
I probably won't edit.
You're just going to upload the raw? Oh.
Unless we make a really bad mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or some... Okay, well, that's cool. Start with the
I'm
top.
already here, so...
Stop.
I was the mistake that had to be shipped out. Anyways,
I'm telling you, you're the two same people.
Anyways, so this episode is real important to me because we're going to actually be talking about how we all got back in contact with each other. So, where should we start?
The beginning.
Yeah, the beginning.
Well, yeah, but like, who should start?
Mom.
Okay.
The beginning of us all getting into contact?
Well,
or like the whole history?
I think we should go into the whole situation as long as
Probably the context
Yeah.
of like 19 years ago.
I guess, yeah, just give context
Okay.
and kind of talk through that.
So,
because, yeah.
Okay, so 1998, I graduated high school, and at that time I was dating a guy who was quite a bit older than I was. In fact, he was over 10 years older than me. And I was very young, still very immature, easily manipulated. He probably, I should not have been dating someone his age, and
Overall bad situation.
just an overall very bad situation. I had actually finally broken up with him in the fall of 1998 and was making some plans for my future. Of course, I had just graduated high school, so I was thinking of going to college and going back to Arizona, where I had grown up and been raised. And about that time was when I found out that I was expecting. And I moved forward with moving down to Phoenix at that time. I knew that it probably wasn't the right time to go to school or do anything like that. I needed to focus on my health, take care of me and the baby, who is now Corey. And I didn't really know for sure what the plan was at the time. My focus was just, I'm expecting and I want to make the best decision I can for him, for the baby. And because of the toxic relationship that I had just gotten out of, and there was just a lot of risk involved. If I were to keep the baby, I was very concerned about what would happen moving forward, just with the father wanting to remain involved in his life and my life and the effect that would have on both of us. And so I considered a lot of different options. I've never even told Corey this. I just was thinking of this as I was talking. But
This here's Pixel Venture Podcast first.
But I actually, my mom had considered adopting Corey and raising him so that we could keep him in our family and have him there with us. But we kind of referred to a situation in our extended family where they had done something similar to that, and saw that was really hard for everybody involved, and we just ultimately decided that's not the right thing to do. And so I started looking into adopting the baby out, And that was extremely difficult for me because that's a really tough decision to make. I can't even explain. I mean, just the wide range of emotion that you feel, and you feel guilty, but you feel like it's the right thing. You feel like a terrible person because this is your child, but you know if he stays with you, you know, it's going to be a rough ride for him because I was young. You know, I'm still a kid. Mm-hmm. Think about when you're, you know, just freshly out of high school and just barely 18, you know, it's really hard. But anyway, so I was literally like 2 months away from giving birth and from my due date, and I still didn't know for sure what I was going to do. And I was put into contact with an adoption attorney who ended up being one of the most amazing ladies I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And she was a huge support. She got me through some of the toughest days, and literally she helped me in making one of the toughest decisions of my life. And so I give her, you know, a lot of props because I was lost. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. But she would come over every night. She would leave her office and she would come over with a pile, just a huge stack of files of potential parents. And I would sit and she would just drop them off and she'd say, I'm going to leave these with you. Go through them and let me know when you want me to bring you more.
How many families do you think you had looked at?
Oh, I can't even tell you how many families I looked through. Dozens. I mean, and I would spend hours. I would stay up some nights, like all night long, because I would have a pile of absolutely not, possibly, but there was never like a, these are the ones.
Like a yes.
Yeah. And I would sometimes go through them more than once because I would think, well, maybe I was just like in a mood and I needed to like look at their profiles again and see their pictures. And so anyhow, she came over one night and we had gone through 3 or 4 of the files, and then I came across Jeff and Paula's, and I immediately, like just the moment I saw their faces, I saw their daughter Caitlin's face. They had, you know, they had pictures of their pets, and that was really important to me because I thought, you know, he would already have a sibling. These are people that have good careers. They have pets. It just seemed like a very loving.
At that time, was it the dog and cat?
There was a dog and a cat, for sure.
Then Woody and Reba, yeah.
I remember the name Reba, but I'm not sure the other. But anyhow, I just remember like the minute I even touched their file and I just opened it and I saw it. I didn't even have to like I started reading the first paragraph, but I just looked up at Carrie, that was my attorney's name, and I just was like, this is them. This is the family. I just got chills when I said that because I remember how I felt. I remember the relief and just the happy, like that joy in my heart of knowing that these are the people. And this is without me meeting them in person, without talking to them on the phone. It was just that feeling I got from just the way that they had described their lives and their pictures. I just knew in my heart, like these are the people. This is the family that's going to take him and give him a wonderful life. And
that's really crazy to think about, where it's like you get into that moment, or you have, because like I guess like I can kind of relate where it's like you have moments where you meet someone and you're just like, yeah, this is like this person's going to be a great friend, or like you go somewhere, it's like I'm going to love here like immediately.
But what's crazy is you didn't even get to meet them.
Right.
But you still somehow knew.
I knew. There was not even a doubt in my mind. And this is without, this usually when I make really big decisions in my life, I typically take some time to pray about it, to really consider everything. But it was like nothing I can't even describe. It was just this immediate peace in my heart that this is them, this is the family. And so we went ahead and moved forward. She contacted your parents' attorney, and things just very quickly all fell into place. But if I remember correctly, your parents were in total shock. Mm-hmm. They weren't expecting to be chosen as soon as they were. I think Caitlin was only a couple years old, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, she's like
and
about 2 years older than me.
yeah, and I just remember them. My attorney, when she called me a couple days later, she was like, they are in complete shock, but they are celebrating. They just were not expecting to be chosen so soon. But anyway, but yeah, so, you know, a couple of months went by and we got everything in place. And, you know, I have to admit that there were definitely, you know, many, many days that I considered backing out, and just, I had myself convinced that I can do this. We can figure this out. I'm young, but I can figure this out. But then, you know, reality kicks in. And my biggest fear, I've told Corey this before, my biggest fear though, honestly, was I was not sure I could keep him, I don't know, not safe, but just protect him from the chaos, like that his birth father kind of, the chaos he was living at that time. And I was really worried because I thought I didn't know. He's a lot older than I was, and my biggest fear was that he could take me to court and say, I'm this much older, I have a career, I, you know, am more like established, I'm more like, I'm able to take him in and make a home for him and raise him better than she could. And I just was very scared that he would be sucked into that lifestyle, and I didn't want, because it was kind of a chaotic lifestyle. Like, he was kind of a drifter, just kind of moved around, lived with whoever, you know, like but I don't want to sit and bash either, because there's a lot, obviously I was with him for a reason. Like, he was a good guy in a lot of ways, but anyhow, that was my fear. And so when I would think about that, I would realize, no, like, I'm not prepared to take that on. And it's not fair for this baby to have to go through all of that. And I wanted him to just be able to go home to a mom and a dad that loved each other, a loving home. You know, when I saw Caitlin in the pictures, I just thought, this is his sister. Like, he gets to go home to a big sister that's going to be so proud of him, you know, and these pets that are going to love him. And and this, I would think about that, and then I'm like, or he could stay here with me in like this dumpy 1-bedroom apartment while I go make minimum wage at the Pick and Save, you know, like. So anyway, but yeah, so they came down the day you were born, but they didn't come into the hospital until the next day. And I just remember they came into the room, and the very first thing your mom said to me, she just looked at me and she was like, "You are so pretty." And that made me feel really good, because of course I didn't feel pretty at all. Yeah. But
well, like, I feel like that's kind of a weird thing to say, like, after, like, you know, it was like, oh, hey, you just gave birth, oh, you're beautiful.
Well, but she just came in, and I remember I saw her face, and she just was like, it was almost like this relief in her. Like, she saw me and she was like, this girl is normal. Like, I wasn't a crackhead. Like, I wasn't. Yeah.
You weren't just some random girl.
You know, and I had some of my family members there in the room with us, so they could see that my family was like very normal and very loving and kind. And, you know, so I think it was like, for them, it was just this relief. Like, you know, we're getting a baby from, like, it's not like some crazy circus that we're dealing with here. Like, this is just a very normal family that's just in a very tough situation and have had to make a very hard decision, you know. But so we spent that day and then the next day together, and then you guys came home to New Hampshire. And we stayed in contact. You know, they were really good about sending pictures and letters and keeping me updated on things for quite some time afterwards. My sister passed away in October of '99, and I remember like writing a letter to your mom and letting her know that had happened, and letting her know that I was really struggling. And I didn't hear from them for a while, but I think it was because she was just thinking that I was very vulnerable. And there was, if I remember correctly, there was like a clause in our contract that said that like I could try to take him back within a certain amount of time. And I think she was probably thinking, she's just lost her sister, she might want him back. because she's got to fill that hole in her heart. So they did kind of back off a little bit, but then they were still really good, and they mailed everything to my grandparents' house. And I just, every time that my grandma, she would call and she would say, "We got a letter." And I lived an hour from my grandma, but it didn't matter what was going on. Even if I was scheduled for work that day, I didn't even care. I just would be like, I'm on my way. And I would jump in the car and like get there as fast as I could, because I knew I was going to get to see pictures of him. They would give me updates like of his development and, what kind of kid he was. And so, but
sorry if it was anything about me being a bad egg for a bit.
No, I mean, because that only went on for, a few years. And then my letters just, they weren't writing me back. I would write to them and try to reach out to them. And I even called my attorney and just said, is everything okay? Because we went from like hearing from them, not often, but regularly enough that I could feel like everything was good, everything was fine. And then when I just didn't get any communication at all, I thought, my worst fears were like, well, what if something happened to them or to him? And I don't know. But my attorney, she got back to me and she just said, everything's fine. They are just choosing not to have any contact at this point. And I had to accept that. There was absolutely nothing I could do about it. And that was really hard. But that was the point in my life that I realized, I'm just going to have to wait until he's 18 years old. And then, like, I will do everything I can to find him at that point.
And this part that's coming up, I apologize to sort of cut this off, but like this part is really crazy to me, because it's just like I can bash on social media and stuff like that. I've done that in the past, but like this is a situation where I actually have to thank it, because what happened next would never have happened, say, early 2000s, because social media just was not there. Like, this is something that would be, like, only available in, like, 2017, 2018, however you found that. But, yeah, we can get to that part.
Yeah.
I apologize for
Yeah,
interrupting.
no, that's
and this is
okay.
actually where also Whitney can come in.
Yeah. So yeah, and so that was a really hard time for me. And I would still get hopeful, though, even after my grandma passed away. Like, I would drive out to the house periodically and just check the mailbox and see, maybe they sent something. Maybe they called and left a message on grandma's, machine, or just I was hopeful. But as the years went on, I just kind of realized, I've got to stop obsessing with this. Like, obviously he's okay, because I told my attorney, I'm like, please tell their attorney, if anything ever happens to any of them, like, I have to know. I have to know. And that was an agreement, just between the attorneys, that if something had happened, that
You would be informed.
that I would be informed, because it's just hard. Like, you have this child out there, and even though you're not raising him and he's technically not your child, you still have that mom. Like, I'm the mom, and you still worry and you wonder. But so anyway, fast forward a couple of years, and Whitney was born. And
that's a little headed.
And literally from the time that she was old enough to understand, I told her, we didn't know his name was Corey. That was part of the agreement in the adoption.
You couldn't know my
contract.
name. You couldn't know exactly where I lived. That kind of thing.
No, I wasn't even supposed to know your last name, but I think I told you when they came into the hospital room that first day. I peeked at the airline tag on the stroller that Caitlin was in, and it said Bryant, and I didn't have anything to write it down with, and I had to act like I didn't see it, but I just forever burned in my brain, Bryant is the last name. So all I knew was Jeff and Paul and Bryant, New Hampshire, and that was it.
And that's crazy that,
and they have a daughter named Caitlin.
Yeah, that little glimpse was sort of like what started this sort of ball rolling.
Yeah, but Whitney, she always knew about Corey, but even when we knew he was like 14, 15 years old, we still always referred to him as Baby Nick, because they did let me name him, and put his name on my birth certificate, but then his parents, legally changed the name and everything.
Oh, he kept it.
But they kept it. They kept it, which was pretty cool because
middle name
is Nicholas, which is what I named him, Nicholas, after my little brother. And so anyway, but yeah, your name when I named you was Nicholas Eugene. Eugene was after
Eugene.
Yes.
Eugene.
I know. I knew.
You got gypped. You could have had Eugene as your
How is that
name.
gypped?
Eugene's dope.
I feel like I've dodged a bullet.
Yeah. So I knew at the time, I'm like, if they keep Eugene, he's gonna hate it. But I had a really, really close friend in high school that passed away unexpectedly, and his middle name was Eugene. And
well, now I feel bad for making fun of him.
But no, it's okay. But I wanted to honor him in some way.
I never
and so
knew that.
Yeah, Bob's middle name was
I
Eugene.
use my chapstick
Bob?
in stress.
My boyfriend that died in high school.
Oh.
So anyhow, that's the history of your original name. But anyway, so Whitney, her teachers would call me because she would
You immediately tense up.
Exactly what this is.
because we live in a pretty small town, and so pretty much everybody
When you know, you know.
We're familiar with each other. People know families. Anyhow, Whitney would go to school and draw pictures of her family, and she would draw pictures of her and her older brother, and she would say this is me and my brother, and her teachers would call me and be like, is everything okay with Whitney? Because she's come up with this imaginary person in her life that she keeps referring to as her older brother. And then I would have to explain.
That's so sad.
And so it was, but she was always, I told her this isn't something to be sad about, because she would get sad about it, because she would say, when am I ever going to meet my brother? Am I ever going to know who my brother is? And I promised her, from the very beginning, I said, we will find him and he will be in our lives, but it can't be right now. We have to wait. And anyway, but once I would tell the teachers the story, they were like, oh, okay, so we don't have a problem.
I remember there was one time at parent-teacher conference, I was in 4th grade, maybe 3rd grade, and I brought him up, and I can't remember how, and then after that we went to the store, and I just I have the memory burned in my brain of you saying you can't say that. I'm okay.
Well, it is not that I didn't want her to tell people, because this is, the fact that I had a child and that he was placed for adoption is not anything I've ever been ashamed about. Everybody in my life was fully aware of it. It's something that's always been important to me, that people are aware. I have an older son. When people would ask me, how many kids do you have? I would always, before Vinny, I would always say I have 2 kids. Or, I have 3 kids now. And, Corey was always part of that, And it's no, I didn't raise him. I don't even know his name. But I have 3 kids, So, anyway. But, yeah, so, we always had a picture of him up in the house. It was a picture from when he was 2 or 3 years old. But it was no matter where we moved, no matter when we redecorated, no matter what was going on, we always had that framed picture.
That's so cool, because I'm thinking about, cause there's another detail that's going to be coming up. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but there's something that's so cool because of these pictures and stuff, and you'll say it soon, but it's dope. It's dope.
Yeah, but
I saw that face. I know this is
It better be as dope as Eugene, though.
yeah.
I don't think anything can top the
I
fact
can walk
that
out of this
nothing
hotel right
Eugene.
now.
Well, and I'm surprised I haven't told you
There's a
that
window
before.
right
See,
there.
every time
It's
we,
locked.
I'm just surprised I hadn't. I
My
told
glasses
you
are
that.
thick.
Yeah.
Anyway, so anyhow, then
Sorry.
we were getting closer to Corey's 18th birthday, and I started getting super, super excited because I was thinking, I am going to I'm totally going all in. I'm going to find this kid and I'm going to be a part of his life. And so February, so Corey's birthday's in May.
You good, Whitney?
My foot's asleep. Going.
Wow.
Okay. No, it's all right. Oh, it's all right. Keep going. We're keeping this in.
So anyway, we have a foot asleep, but hopefully the audience is not asleep.
Yeah. All
Anyway,
3 people who
all
listen to
3
this.
people Anyway,
you can send it out.
But so Corey's birthday's in May, and it was like February of that year, I emailed my attorney, and I had not talked to her for years because we just kind of decided, the last conversation that we'd had before that was like, there's really not anything we can do, you know? And so I didn't even know if she was still practicing as an attorney, if like her email that I had was even good, anything. And luckily it was, you know. I emailed her and I just told her, we're getting really close to his 18th birthday, and I just want to reach out to the family and find out if he has any desire to meet me. And she wrote back and just told me, here's their attorney's email. You can direct her, like, you can contact her directly. And that made me really nervous because I was like, no, I need the middleman.
It's kind of weird because it's like, I guess to parallel it, for like a while I wanted to know who my birth family was, but since I was just like little and I had no idea what to do, I just kind of stopped. Like, it was in the back of my mind. But like, especially, I want to say like, yeah, in high school I thought about it like quite a bit of just being like, man, I feel like maybe I might be old enough to start talking to them, but I never actively sort of seeked it out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I started to pump the brakes a little bit because I started getting worried that I'm like, I don't want to like bombard him. And what if he has like this, like everything is going really, really good. My biggest fear was like contacting him and like disrupting his life and causing like a problem for him. And I just, because I went back to when I was getting ready to graduate high school and turn 18. And I'm like, you know, there's a lot going on, like a lot of stress, a lot of fears, a lot of emotions, like big life changes. And I'm
there
like,
were a lot of emotions.
So I was like, I just don't know. I started thinking, you know, I don't think this is the right time for me to like contact him because it's just already such a emotional time for someone that age and in that situation. So I didn't email the attorney. I still, to this day, have the letter as a draft in my email. Never sent. It's all drafted, never sent. But I don't know, I just didn't think it was the right time. And then Whitney and I, one day, we were just talking. We were like, well, what if we found him, like, on the internet? We wouldn't have to disrupt his. We were
you
like,
stalked my profile?
We were like, we wouldn't have to disrupt his life or cause him any grief or do anything crazy, but we could just see him. We could just watch him from afar, like
stalk me. You stalked me.
Basically, stalk him.
Okay, I didn't stalk him. I just
that's jumping ahead a little bit.
Well, Whitney kind of got pulled into it, but
yes.
We'll get to before that, and then we'll talk about how you stalked me for a while.
But I actually, so like, not to confuse people, but I ended up having a conversation with a wonderful lady named Michelle who lives in Indiana, who has a son with Corey's birth father. They were actually married and are divorced now, but she's an amazing lady, and I just reached out to her because we had made contact years before, and she had just asked me, you know, like, our boys are half brothers, like, do you have any contact with your son? Would they ever want to meet? And I had explained our situation, and she's like, well, let's just keep in contact, and maybe one day if you meet Corey, we can get our boys together at some point in the future if that's something he wants to do. Well, in the meantime, her and I ended up getting to know each other really well, and we've still never met to this day. But Facebook, she found me on Facebook, and we just started talking. So anyhow, I started telling her, you know, Corey's 18 now, because at that point, it was like the summer after your graduation. And I just said, Corey's 18 now, and I just want to kind of know who he is. And she goes, oh, you know, let me get to work. I can do this. And she wasn't kidding. Like, I think we spent like 2 or 3 solid days. She was doing it on her end, you know, and she was like, just let me do it. Like, tell me the information that you have, and I'll take it and see what I can find. So anyhow, she took the last name Bryant and the information that the state of New Hampshire, and I don't know how. I still don't know all the details, but she starts sending me pictures of different Corey Bryants. And she's like, they may or may not be from New Hampshire, but let's just start looking at pictures. Well, she so she sends me this picture, and the minute I saw his eyes, I knew.
It was the senior photo, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was your senior picture.
The caption was not clever.
But she
Call me
just
ranch
sent it
because
to me.
I'd be dressing.
But I knew, because I'm like, and I had told her that too. With all the pictures that she had sent me, I just kept saying, I'll know it's him when I see his eyes. Because even in his pictures from when he was younger that his parents had sent me, I just always thought like him and I had the same eyes.
That's the thing that's so wild about all of this, is that you were like, my eyes. You didn't know anything else aside from my eyes.
Yeah,
That's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, but I knew, like, the minute I saw that picture, I said, that's him. And she goes, okay, let me do some research. And about 20 minutes later, she's like, so I just found a high school in New Hampshire where there is a Caitlin Bryant listed on the honor roll. And she goes, so just out of curiosity, I looked for other Bryants, and I found a Corey Bryant. And she goes, and so she matched it all up, and it ended up being him. So anyhow, I show Whitney. She gets home from school that day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look, like, this is your older brother. We found him. And I convince her to go to his Instagram and follow him.
Yeah.
Because
what?
I
What
didn't
did it take
know.
to convince you? Like, did you get
Nothing.
Did you get a lollipop? Oh, I'm sorry,
Well,
a sucker.
A sucker.
It's called a lollipop.
It's a sucker.
It's a lollipop.
Shut up. We're not
It's a
doing
dum
this.
dum.
It,
I'm gonna
Nobody
that is
calls it a
wrong.
dum-dum.
Nobody calls it a dum dum.
Nobody says that.
It's a Tootsie Roll Pop.
Well, that's
Just
the.
go.
Okay.
Just leave.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. Take your
Alright.
dum dums.
We could
And
do
your
this all
Tootsie
day.
Pop. No, she didn't have to convince me. I was
No.
just like, okay.
No, I just
Just like-
well, we just had this conversation where I'm like, I don't know if he knows who I am, and I don't want to like rock the boat. So I'm like, I think he would freak
I
out.
don't know nothing.
I'm like, I think he would freak out if he saw the name Lori is following you now. So I was like, he
So
won't.
you go do it now.
So
Yeah.
I was like, but he
So
won't,
here's someone that you don't
but
know.
he won't know you, and his profile was public. So she just followed him, and then Corey can tell you when he got like the notification that she was following him. Tell them, you can share what your thoughts were when you saw Whitney Newman is following you.
Okay, so back then, pretty much like I looked at your account and it said
No.
it said Wharf Stash Gang
Yes.
and then gamer with like a few emojis, and I was just like,
I was in like 7th
I was
grade.
like, oh, okay, is this kind of kid or whatever. But I was like, okay, little like random kid. This is gonna sound weird, but little kids follow my account all the time. I don't know why.
Well, it's public, so.
Well, yeah, but like I was just like, oh, okay, it's just some random kid. We'll just let him stick around with the account. And then later, you changed your bio to say SHS.
Thank the heavens above that I got out of that stage.
Yeah. Oh no, I missed it. You should go back.
Future YouTuber.
Go back. Go back to those
12
roots.
years old
Stop
gamer.
picking it.
Yeah, but like dancer and
Dancer.
everything.
Dances life. Video games. Dogs.
Yeah. No, that literally was it though.
Yeah.
But like, so the thing is, like, when you change it to say SHS, I was like, oh, okay, that means she goes to my high school because you live in Shelley.
Mm-hmm.
Shelley High School. I went to Sauhegan High School.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't question it at all because I thought it was just some kid.
Some weird underclassmen.
Yeah,
like,
some weird underclassmen. Well, there's so many of them in
Some
Sauhegan.
weird gamer girl was following your account.
So
This was like half of
something-
my friends.
So something I don't know if I ever asked either of you. At any point, did you start following her back?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Even
Like-
before you knew?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it
I was
was
just like,
before.
oh, I might as well just be considerate.
I remember we like freaked out about it.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, we freaked out about a lot of things along the way, so I'm just trying to remember,
My
like...
arm hurts. I'm sorry.
So yeah, so at some point you start following her back, but she doesn't hardly ever post
like, I
anything.
remember
so.
it was like, I don't have my phone, but I remember you said you saw like the very recent post was from the Idaho State Fair.
Yeah,
And
because
you were
I was like, oh, cool.
She traveled.
Yeah, you traveled out there. I thought
So
that
it
was
must have
dope.
been you followed me back in. I was in
would have been
high
last
school.
year.
When
Yeah,
I was in
I
high
think
school.
so.
Yeah.
So like
So-
August.
Because I was like, oh, okay, Sauhegan kid. Got
Well, but before that, at some point, she had sent you.
it. I feel so guilty about this. Don't bring it up.
You
She
still
she
worried
had
about
sent
that?
like
Yes, I
a DM through Instagram,
Slide into
and
the
she had
DMs.
just briefly said, "Hey, my name's Whitney, and I think you might be my brother. And
Were you adopted? And
like, were you adopted?
I never saw it until
so
like way later.
So anyhow, you know, and so she
I feel
did.
so guilty.
Like she.
Dude, it's not like I forgot about it, but like once I got to the point where it was like a couple months, I was like, eh.
Yeah, we would like check every single day to see if
okay.
he had seen it or had written her back. And so like after a certain period of time, she just kind of like,
I didn't like give up.
we didn't give
like,
up, but
I
we just
thought about
figured
it.
like we just figured he's not ready to like
Well, no, like
have
I
that
thought about it because I
conversation.
was like, he doesn't follow me back, so it goes into like the, like you have
Requests.
to accept it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's cool.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, so what, like, you know, all this time, like, we are having fun on our end because, like, Corey has no idea, but we're, like, sitting in Idaho following his life from a distance, you know, and we're...
Stalking.
We're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're
You
like,
keep on trying to put it as like
seriously?
such a sweet like
But-
way, but
But no, I mean, I don't think it's
that,
stalking.
though. It
I don't think it's
wasn't.
stalking. It was like, we would just literally, like, every once in a while,
Come
we
on,
would
like
get on
you
his
make it sound like we
No.
followed his
we
Instagram.
followed him, but then like I would go like on Instagram just periodically and like check because I would get so excited when I would see like things happening in his life that were good because it was just like this great feeling because I'm like, oh, you know, he's on a fun trip, he's traveling, he's with his friends doing something fun, and it just made
I
me feel
posted
so
so
good.
much garbage back
And
then.
but I'm thankful for that because that's what I saw and that's like how I started to feel like, oh, I have a little bit of an idea, like what he's interested in and things he likes to do, you know, like your photography, when you would like your walks, when you would go like on your hikes or do your videography, like things like that. And
I remember at one point I like was following you, and you posted something about your YouTube channel, like a gameplay video.
Oh
And
no!
I go to
Murder
the-
miners.
Yeah,
we watched,
yeah.
we did watch
Yeah.
that,
That's why it has so many views.
maybe.
Because I only sent it to like a handful of people.
For one person. No, anyway. But like I went to your profile and I subscribed to it, and it was like a picture of Donkey Kong with like a Supreme hat.
I haven't changed it.
And I watched the video. I'm like, this is dope. Like just cool.
Well, and Michelle, I know my friend named Deanna, I know she watched it too because she texted me one day and was like, do you know he has a video on YouTube? I totally found it.
He's got a video on YouTube.
So anyway,
He does
but like
the
but we
YouTubing.
were having so much fun because like, you know, it's more than just
He's an epic
it's more
gamer,
than just like
he wants to be.
me. It's not just
Future YouTuber.
she was bound and determined.
You even bought me a GoPro and I never used it.
Yeah, she never.
You had a
used it.
GoPro?
She still,
I still
has
have
it.
it.
We're going to use that
But I was-
so much. When
I was
I'm
like,
over there.
Mom, it's not a vlog camera. This is a GoPro.
I would kill for a GoPro. What?
Yeah.
You want to buy it from me?
Okay.
Eventually.
We'll
We can talk about
Yeah,
this
later.
And
Next
you
paycheck.
You don't sell your family stuff. You give
I
your
was
family
kidding.
stuff. Anyway,
I'll
I'll probably
buy
put it
it.
on eBay or something.
but
Put it on eBay and I'll buy it, and she
Okay.
won't know.
Okay.
Big
But
brain.
no, it was like cool because it's not just me and Whitney. Obviously, like Corey has a huge family that he's never met. That like, but everybody, like including like my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my parents, my siblings, like all my nieces, nephews. Everybody has always known, you know, that he was out here somewhere.
That's so weird to me.
And so like when I would see like a really good picture of Corey, which you wouldn't really post pictures of yourself very often.
Because I don't like myself.
So-
Next question.
So when I would get a picture, I would totally screenshot it and then like I would send it out. Like I would send it to my mom and send it to my brother and like be like, oh my gosh, here he is. Look, like what's going on? And so that went on for quite a while. And then last April, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I started treatment in June, and it was in October I started doing daily radiation on top of my chemo, and I was feeling like my body was shutting down. I felt so sick, and I asked my doctor, like, what are we looking at here? Like, am I going to even make it through treatment was my concern, because I was not doing very well, and I was feeling like I needed to get in contact with him, and like there was this huge sense of urgency, because I just thought, if I can't even like survive this treatment, or if I have to stop treatment because I can't tolerate it, I'm gonna leave this life like never being able to like see him again. And that was something I didn't like. I just couldn't even, like, that thought was so disturbing and upsetting to me. And so I knew it wasn't the right way to go about it, but I didn't know what else to do, because I thought at this point, he is an adult. He can make his own decisions. I didn't feel the need at that point to go through the attorneys or go through the parents or anything. I just thought, I know how to get a hold of him. And so I sent him a message on Instagram and just said, hey, I don't even know exactly what I said, but I just remember I said, I don't even know if you know who I am.
Yeah, I think the way you opened it was, hi, Corey, do you know who I am?
Yeah, I just said, I'm having some health issues, and we're not really sure, what the future looks like. We're not sure how much time we have. But I have a huge desire to be in contact with you if that's something that you would like to do. And then I just thought, well, there's nothing more I can do at this point. And several weeks went by, and I was so sick that it was probably, oh my gosh, Boogie.
Just keep going.
Her leg went to sleep again, and she was trying so hard to make us just keep the pace. But anyway, several weeks.
But also, several weeks went by, but I was really sick. I couldn't, I wasn't even able to open my mouth. I couldn't talk. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. And so it was probably way better that he didn't reach out to me at that point, because I wouldn't have even been able to talk to him or do anything. And so, anyhow, I'm going to let Corey kind of say, at some point he saw my message. He didn't see my message right away.
Yeah, no, because I'm horrible at replying to people.
So at some point he sees my message, and I'll let you tell about that.
To give context of where I was in the time where I read the message, I hit a new low with my depression. A lot of things were kind of going south, issues with friends, family, people I really cared about, that kind of thing. And just everything was weighing down on me, the pressure from college, and I just was in a horrible place mentally. And then, so one day, of course, when your teacher's going over what's going to be on the final and everything, obviously what you do is go on Instagram and don't only pay attention to that, because you just don't have any desire to do anything else. So I'm going through, checking posts, and I was going to a post where you would have to swipe right to see more of the pictures. And I swiped a little bit too much on the bottom, to the point where I got to my DMs. And I saw one message request, which, in all honesty, when you see a message request, it's either A, a porn bot, or two, some guy being like, hey, you want to be friends?
Yeah.
And it's that's all they are. So I was just like, oh, maybe this is one. It'd be kind of funny, whatever. I open it, and I'm sitting next to my friend Amber, and she sees my face go pale. And she's like, what, Corey, what's going on? I'm like, read it. And initially when I was reading it, I don't know if I told you this detail, I thought it was a cougar. Because it was just I've been watching you for a while, you grew up to be such a handsome young man, and I'm just like, what going on? What? No. Not.
You're like, which friend's mom is this?
Yeah, who's this? Because when you followed me, I saw that the mutual follower was Whitney, so I was like, oh, okay, it's her mom trying to make sure that she's not following some creepy guy. Mm-hmm. And then you messaged me that, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's... Mm-hmm. But after reading it over a few times, I'm like, I think this is my birth mom. And she's like, wait, what? Really? And so I had to drive her to work, which was actually a Great Harvest, which you have out in Idaho.
And we have a picture of the table at Great Harvest now.
Yeah, and Jake, you know what? We got a bonus to the budget, so how about instead of throwing those signs on screen like you have been for a little bit, get those off. Here's a picture.
Great.
More stuff for you to edit. You're welcome. I knew you were going to get bored.
I'm not bored.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Me and Jake are just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is kind of the part where we kind of need to tell it, and then we can get into Boston stuffs. But, what's that?
Well, you still have your
So
part
you take
to
her
tell.
to work.
Yeah, so I take her to work, and I'm sitting down at the table, and she gets me a iced vanilla chai latte with almond milk, which is actually something that...
Which is our favorite drink.
Yeah. And I'm in the middle of drinking and everything, and I'm like texting my parents, and I'm like, hey, do you know someone named Lori? Like, she's messaging me. I'm a little weirded out. And my mom said, just ask for her maiden name. And if it's this, then, you know, that's your birth mom. And I asked, is it okay if I talk to her if it is? And she's like, yeah. And so I ask, and you answer, and it's what matched there. And from there, we started sort of messaging back and forth. But I had to go to classes, so I gave you my phone number for after. This was the night of, I'm part of a publication at my college, and we were doing a coffee house to showcase some of the talent. And I told her after that, do you want to do a phone call? And you said yes, and I think you replied back, I didn't know when I woke up today that would be the best day of my life. And I got taken back by that, because I've only had a handful of people ever say that about something that I do, and I can't describe how I felt in that moment. But the event happens, I'm talking to a friend, and eventually I see a phone number that I don't recognize, and it says Idaho, and I'm like, this is a bit farther than I thought it would be. Like, initially I thought it was a spam call, and I was going to ignore it, but then my friend's just like, that has to be them, you gotta pick up. Do you remember the first thing I said?
I don't even know. I was so nervous. So nervous.
The first thing I said was, hi Mom, I know a few more words than the last time you seen me. And then we both started crying.
I'm glad you remember that. I literally was just like, all I could hear was your voice, and like I even told Rich before, like, I even made the phone call. I was like, I literally don't even feel like I need to say anything. I just want to hear his voice. I just want to let him talk the whole time, because I've never heard his voice, you know? Yeah. Like, except for on the videos and stuff on your social media.
But I had a really bad mic, so you were thinking my voice was, hello everyone.
Nah. But no, I think we ended up being on the phone that night for like 3 hours.
You got to 4
like
because
4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, because him and Whitney got on the phone at one point, and that was it. That was the beginning of the.
My foot keeps telling me to say something.
Yeah.
Reposition.
Change position. There you go.
Reposition. But yeah, so
now I'm jealous. I should have sat on the bed.
It was just crazy because I knew, like, Whitney took the phone and she just walked into the other room and they just started talking. And I told Rich, I was like, they are seriously going to be best friends. Like, listen to them talking. It's like they've known each other their whole lives. And it was just crazy how natural that conversation flowed. And
didn't I first ask you if you still watch Markiplier?
Yeah. It was
that
Markiplier,
was like the icebreaker.
It was Markiplier, like Martin Garrix, and like
21 Pilots.
21 Pilots,
yeah.
Joji.
Yeah.
Video games, movies, and just...
Yeah, because I sent you... I think the second message that I ever sent you, aside from hey, was... I think it was a scene from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which, if anything, that describes...
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about that. You're like, go watch this.
Because it's my favorite movie. But, man. And, like... Okay, this is actually something...
So all of this went down, by the way... the first week of December.
Yeah, December 6th. So what a wild way to introduce that month. Huh?
Well, and I remember because the day before that is Rich and Vinny's birthday. And I was like thinking, oh, it's like December 5th is such a special day for our family. And now December 6th is also such a special day.
We'll make it a week to celebrate stuff. Yeah. But just going from, again, just Whitney and I talking, like, just we kept in contact constantly. And then on that, I think it was that same night where I mentioned PAX East, and I bought an extra ticket, and I asked if she wanted to go.
And I was like, oh my gosh, and like I was freaking out because like at that not at like I don't know like that. I don't know. I definitely grew up and like grew out of like the whole gamer girl stage, but like I was still in it, and I remember I would always talk to you about going to PAX. Mm-hmm. And you were like, oh, okay.
Well, I didn't even, the thing was that I didn't understand what it was.
I don't even think you thought it was legit.
I didn't. I just thought this is something that probably kids don't go to.
I was going since 7th grade.
She would constantly ask me to take her, and I was just like, I don't even know what that is, or if kids are allowed to go, and we're not spending our money on that.
I knew my stuff.
But anyhow, that's how this whole trip came about, was because of the invitation to PAX. Yeah. So. so yeah.
And now I'm here.
And now
Wearing
so
pack socks.
So that was the thing, was like and in my mind in the beginning I was thinking, okay, well, we don't know like what my health's going to be like, because I was still in the middle of treatment and still, I mean, not doing well. But I just thought, well, worst case scenario, I book Whitney a flight and she goes out there, and we can find a family friend or somebody that lives out there that she could stay with. Like, I was trying to I'm like, I want to make this happen. I want her to be able to go, because they were both so excited at the thought of her like coming and going with him. And so anyway, but then it all worked out towards the end of January. I had some scans and I had completed my treatment, and my doctor said, go ahead and book your flights. And so I booked my flights, and I texted Corey, and I'm like, tickets are bought. We're coming. And I was like, I don't know if he really thought that was for sure going to happen, but it's happening.
No, because like in my mind, I was like, this is going to happen someday. I don't know how soon it will be. And then you're like, hey, Corey, we got the tickets. Also, Whitney, you got to be careful, because this pizza box is the only thing that's holding up the mic.
I'm sorry, it's bugging me.
Yeah, I see it too. Don't worry.
Look away, you two.
But,
look away.
Well, we gotta face the mic for it to be clear. But yeah, you know what? Let's break the immersion again. The way that we have the setup right now, there's a pizza box, and the mic is on it, and there's some little stand that's usually
suitcase carrier.
Luggage. But no. Actually, while you were talking, Jake pulled up. These were like the first few messages that I sent him about this.
So you guys first, was the call on the 6th?
The call
Yes.
and everything happened on the 6th.
Everything was on the 6th.
So that happened to the 6th. On the 7th, at 12:39 a.m., which must have been like right after
We
it
must
ended.
have just gotten
Yeah,
off
I
the phone.
just hung up.
Yeah.
Literally, the first messages he sends me are, "Hey Jake, something big happened today, and it's a lot to process." And then he asked me to jump into a call, and he just went on and on about everything that happened. So, like, even I knew that, like, your first words were, "Hey, Mom," and how you both end up just crying, and then you got to talk to your sister, and all of that. And he basically hasn't been able to shut up since you got here.
Yeah.
About just how happy he is, and how, like, everything is still, like, amazing.
Well, yeah, because it's just such a cool thing. Because, like, this time last year, I didn't know anyone that was here existed. Like,
Right.
it was just me having just a big question mark on, like, who my birth family is and everything. And now, like, we're sitting here in person, and we're able to sit down and record this. And, like, that means so much to me.
Yeah.
Because I just went through my entire life thinking I'm not going to know. Well, let's try not to cry, Corey.
I hear those voice cracks. Just don't cry.
And you were talking about how, like, you didn't know if he would want to, like, see you or be in contact with you.
Right, and
that could not be any further from the truth.
Well, but that was something,
Yeah.
when I decided, like, I was talking to Rich about reaching out to Corey, like, directly. Like, we discussed that there was a good chance that he would write back and say, I have absolutely no interest in, like, being involved in your life.
A lot of kids are like that.
Like, please never contact me again. And so I was prepared, and I was going to respect whatever his decision was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to disrupt his life or bring him any pain or upset. I don't want to do anything to rock his world. Like, it's only if he's welcoming it with open arms. Like, I don't want to force anything or, like, cause problems. And I know, like, we have some challenges that hopefully at some point in the future we can overcome. And it's really hard for me just because, like, in my mind, like, I had envisioned being able to see Jeff and Paula again and being able to see Caitlin again, because just that short time that we were able to have together and just, like, my feelings about them when all of this happened in 1999, like, I had so much love for them, and just we had such a good relationship as we wrote back and forth and things like that for the first few years. And so I was really sad that wasn't, like, how this happened.
Maybe eventually.
But I thought, you know what? That's a bonus if I can see Jeff and Paula and have a relationship with them, or ever see Caitlin again or anything like that. Like, that would be a bonus, or me, his younger sister. the only thing that really matters in all of this is that like Corey and I are in contact, and we've been able to have like this precious time together here these last few days, and it's like
We've done so much.
it's amazing. You know, like we're exhausted.
Yeah.
We are all so tired. We're gonna have to have a big like, what is it that we call it?
It's me. Are you falling asleep in the middle of the podcast?
No.
Are you sure?
We call it we called it the post vacation. I don't know. Anyhow,
Snooze?
What are you
our last
talking
vacation that we got home from, I was like, I need a vacation from my vacation kind of thing, because you know you just go.
Yeah.
But we've literally just, I think, been running on adrenaline. Like we've just been, our emotions were just so excited, and we just want to like soak up all the time we can. And then today, I think it just hit us. We were like, oh, we've been going this whole
See him again.
like no. I texted Corey this morning, and I'm like, seriously, like come hang out in the room with us. We are just chilling. Like it's just a chill day.
Yeah.
This is literally what we would have been doing if we were at home on a Sunday. We would have just been lounging just like we did today. But anyhow, so that was like the only thing that, if I had to say there was any disappointment at all in any of this, I just wish that I would have been able to see his parents, because I truly love them and respect them, and just want to hug them and thank them in person, because they've raised this amazing kid. You know, I didn't know.
Too much credit.
But no, like
I was about to say he's been worried that he's gonna be the disappointment the entire time, ever since like before
The
you guys
disappointment's
got
on the
here.
other side of the mic.
The disappointment's also over here.
there is no disappointment. You both knock it off.
They're the same person.
Knock it off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Stop with little like T-Rex hands.
knock it off. No, because I'm about ready to go like this to both of you.
If you hit the mic, that's going to not be good. Yeah.
So much negative
no.
self-talk.
That's actually, like, you experienced that firsthand, because it was the second day it was the first day that you were here when we went to Newberry Street. And, like, what was it that you're saying after?
Oh, when we were both taking pictures.
Yeah.
Probably something along the lines of it's like having two of you.
Yeah.
Because literally every time I bring you come down to Boston, like all you're doing is taking pictures down the street, and then there's two of you taking pictures down the street. And what was the one place you two said together?
Burberry.
But we said it was a certain cadence. It was like, Burberry.
Like, we weren't even talking to each other.
And I just looked at you.
We were just crossing the road, and we both looked at the building and said Burberry, and we're just like, Burberry. And like, same time.
Yeah.
Wasn't even talking, like nothing. It was weird.
It
Well-
freaked me out, because I'm just going to keep walking.
Well,
We didn't
and
even talk. We're just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
just talking about like how well you two get along and how much alike you are, and Corey, like hearing from you, and like even from like Kevin has said stuff, like anybody that we've talked to, like have said like how much happier Corey has been just since he's been in contact with us, and just kind of knowing more about his history.
It's more about just figuring things out, you know?
Yeah, just like knowing where he came from, knowing, you know, that there's this other family that has always been concerned about him and cared about him and hoped to be a part of his life at some point. But like for Whitney too, seriously, like she has been a lot happier having Corey in her life.
You can tell by the fact that she's burying her face in the pillow.
It's very evident from the videos of when you two first saw each other at the airport.
Not the squeak.
Yeah. Well,
Jake, insert the squeak now.
Just the squeak, none
There
of
it
the
is.
video.
Right
No,
there.
put the video now. No, have it off sync. Like, slightly have the squeak happen a little bit before.
But seriously, you know.
Well, actually, don't do that. That would make me angry.
You'll figure it out.
You just put the video in now.
There you go.
Ignore the
But
jokes
insert-
earlier.
But yeah.
Yeah. But like we have a rule at our house, like the cell phone has to be put away at 9:00 on school nights, and pretty much.
Sorry, we broke that
So
like
pretty
every
much
night since.
Since the day they've been in contact, like there's been very few nights that we've actually confiscated the phone on time.
There's been
Because-
nights we've been up since like
But I like
1:30.
Yeah, I'd be up until 3 talking
Yeah.
to you
But we allow
Playing
it just
Minecraft.
because, like,
and
even
crying to the
though
music.
it's like 11:30 at night for her and it's a school night, I can hear her laughing. I can hear her giggling. And for me, I'm like, I don't even care how late it is. Like, she's talking to her big brother and she is happy. She's laughing. She's having fun. And you know, she's just been through a lot in the last year, like with me being diagnosed, and she's been through some like problems with friendships and
Let's not.
boys, and just she's gone through a lot too. Like, you know, she's kind of had lots of peaks and valleys, and so I just don't.
But
that's that's what it is. Lots of highs and lows. Like
It was a sewer. Down.
Yeah.
It was below.
It was catacombs.
But so, like, him being in her life has brought her so much, like, more happiness. And,
I make you happy.
and I just feel, yes, you do. And I just feel like...
I just see the... When does it go to leave?
I just wish there was a video.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, like, I wish we had a video of that.
I'm sorry, I just have
We
no
could use that
emotion.
for a
I'm
lot of
so
things.
tired.
No, it's all right. Hey,
So-
do it. It's fine.
So
I mean,
anyway,
it's like 9:38, -2.
That's a long
Mine's
couple
2.
of days.
Yeah.
But,
Because we've just been go.
yeah,
It's
I think,
been-
like, literally we're gonna go home and just...
I have to go to school on
Like,
Tuesday.
I mean, we're just gonna
You
have
could
to,
tell
like,
them no.
decompress. Like,
I can't.
You could.
I have cheer tryouts.
she has cheer tryouts.
Ooh.
Ugh.
She must go. She
And
can't
I'm
try
so
out unless
fat
she
from all the food we've eaten
No.
Yeah.
here.
Okay, so let's talk about how much food we've eaten,
Oh,
guys.
Oh god.
yeah, so we started off strong.
Well, people said they were hungry.
So there's a place in Boston. We talked about this on an earlier podcast. The Boston Burger Company. We brought you there. What'd you think?
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't
That was
even
the beginning
taste-
of the end for me.
I couldn't even taste anything. It was just all I just inhaled everything.
It was
It was just-
so good.
Reese.
You finished
I-
your entire frap.
I know.
How?
I was saving room for it.
I know, but
That
how?
taco was down in
Yeah.
like 2 seconds.
And we do have pictures of this food.
Yeah,
So,
and we actually have a budget,
Um,
so you can put it on instead of doing that later.
And we have your video of wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
there we go. No, the food has been out of control. But yeah, we've had me and Rich were talking about, oh my gosh, we have literally spent like so much time just eating delicious food.
You're welcome.
Don't forget about that
Yeah.
99-cent pizza slice at the gas station.
Yeah. Hey, look, that wasn't
Dude,
bad.
and you like that like pie thing I got?
Yeah, the whipped pie.
Yeah. It was good in the moment, but now I look back and it was so gross. It
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
the whoopie pies are garbage.
it was like the consistency of a Twinkie, but with like chocolate chips
Yeah.
from like the dollar store.
Yeah, I was like,
it was
why did
so
you...
gross.
I was like looking at you and I was like, you bought that and you're eating it confidently.
And then I got a medium slushy with all the flavors from the machine in it.
Yeah, and you forgot because like half of the flavors weren't ready, so you just had a huge amount of liquid and just
I didn't
tiny
know what
little-
I didn't even see it. I just like.
It's a big red light.
I didn't see it. I just went.
Yeah, and you're just like...
This is what happens
you're like,
when they
this
go out on their own.
You're
for
like, this
one
is
day
going to be
together.
aesthetically pleasing, and then it's just garbage.
Blue.
But I
like
mean-
just blue liquid
but-
at the bottom and like white frost.
But hey,
Like,
we got, like, while we were out together, we got some good pictures. We hung out with some of my friends.
yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Oh my god, that's Kevin.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's was saying that
Oh,
now.
no.
So even though we
I've
really,
always
like,
said it, but like now that Kevin says it, I'm like, oh, it's normal. I'm okay.
Well, and it's just so crazy because it's like, okay, so we were talking about it, I think the first or second day we were here, but we were like, okay, this is our first time, like, being with Corey in person and, like, actually meeting his friends. But seriously, like, we've heard so much about everybody that it's like, we feel like we know you guys. And we were like, it seemed completely normal to us. It seemed like nothing even out of the ordinary for us to go to dinner with you guys that night. Like, we were saying, like, it just felt like a normal day, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be, kind of thing. And even when we were at the Nike store,
Yeah, when Kevin,
You know,
when Kevin met you, he was like, "There's my little sister."
yeah, well, and
I was
it's
like, what's up, bro?
and it's like when I gave Kevin a hug, it was just like, I just feel like I've known this kid his whole life. Like, it's just so weird, but I love it because it's just like,
Because everything just feels natural.
it does. It
Like
totally, it
everything,
definitely
it
feels
never
natural.
felt like. And there was never a point where I was just like, "Ooh, I don't know. Like, how do I act? What do I do?" I mean, there was Quiplash earlier, but we're not going to talk about my answers.
I can't type it because my mummy's here.
Yeah. Hey, it won. It won.
Still typed it.
Hey.
anyone.
At least I put a word in before I typed. I'm not going to say.
Well, wait till you go to Aunt Lisa's and play Quiplash there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wait for
It
them to
gets
get a few
real.
drinks in them, and then I'll do okay.
No, we did it sober, and it was still really bad. It was still really
Me and
bad.
Easton are a bad combination in that game.
And Preston's getting almost as bad.
Oof. Don't. Oh, man.
Anyway, no, because that game's kind of a family tradition for holidays for our family. We all go over to my sister's, and we indulge in a lot of food and go into a coma, and then we play Quiplash. So.
Can't wait to do that in July.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we still have to talk about that.
Yeah.
But,
That's for another discussion.
Yeah, that's for another episode. And
I mean, are people done?
I don't know. We're going to keep talking. I was just saying that that's going to be something that we talk about later.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to be me cutting them off like, this is the end.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, I mean, we're at an hour, but who cares? Let's keep talking.
No, but that's
geez.
that's kind of just the plan. We don't want this to just be like a one-time deal.
I would cry if it was.
We're really hoping that like we can plan more trips for us to come out here and for Corey to come see us, because there's a lot of family that want to meet Corey.
I saw like a celebrity apparently the way the way you described how it's just like everybody wants to see me, and there's one uncle that's like, I better be able to see him before I die.
Uncle
Yeah.
Faye.
So, and I did tell him when I saw him a couple weeks ago, I did show him your picture and I told him, like, I haven't been able to talk to him or see him since I started treatment, and
I was going to say, how about we FaceTime him after
and I
this?
just I
he
don't even
doesn't
think
have
he
a
knows how to
phone.
do that.
Oof.
He's
All right.
doesn't
like
have a
when you
phone.
meet him, you'll understand.
Gotcha.
You might be
he lives
slightly
very
scared.
primitively.
I'm okay
Like,
with that.
But anyhow,
Wait,
no.
is he the crazy mountain man?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes! I'm going to be
So-
okay with him.
He will,
So-
he will
so-
give you 5
So
dream
this
catchers.
man, like,
I will do-
literally,
I'm-
for
I
like
will use 'em.
the last almost 20 years, he has like told me every time he has seen me, like, so have you found my nephew that I've never met, that I'm never gonna see before I die? Like, this is something he has said to me every time. And so then, like, the night that I'm like, I have a surprise for you, and I pull Corey's picture up on my phone, I'm like, here's your nephew, and he's like, who's that? And I'm like, this is my son, the one I placed for adoption. He's like, I didn't know you did that. And I'm like, are you losing your mind?
Yes! He lost his mind a long time ago.
because
mother.
he is quite a bit older now, but then he kind of
Wait,
looked at
how
me.
old is Uncle Faye?
He's in his 70s. I
Really?
don't know. But anyhow, like, so I was kind of like, are you for real? Because I was so excited, like, you finally get to meet your nephew that you've been like badgering me about for all these years. And then he kind of looked at me and he's like, I know who he is. And he was like, so when's he coming out? And he was getting pretty excited. But anyway, like, it's really truthfully like my mom, my dad and his wife, and then my little brother and his family, and then like you're in touch with Auntie Lisa.
Yeah.
And
Don't
she
forget about my friends.
and like
Those are family too.
I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
there's just
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people, and like even just like my work associates, like people in my life are just like, oh my gosh, we cannot wait to meet this kid.
I am a little scared because
But-
it feels like when I go over there, it's immediately going to be. I know people will want to talk to me and everything like that, but anxiety.
You're gonna
No,
come off the
we
plane, it's
won't-
just gonna be paparazzi
Well,
everywhere.
No, we'll manage it, because like really though, like we don't want to like overwhelm you, because it could happen, but like
Yeah.
There's so
we're
many people.
we're just it's gonna be like low key, like lots of family time.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna go.
Oh, definitely.
We'll go out to the farm and hang out. You'll love it out there. And
Is there Wi-Fi? No.
there is Wi-Fi.
It
There is
sucks,
Wi-Fi.
but there's Wi-Fi.
So it's like home. Got it.
Yeah, it's like Wi-Fi. Yeah, but it's very peaceful
The
out there, and it's
worst
beautiful.
Wi-Fi.
You'll be able to take some really good pictures out there.
Oh,
So-
I'm into that. As long as I'm able to spend time,
So-
figure things out, maybe skate a
Yeah.
little.
Nope, there's nowhere to skate.
There isn't. No,
Not
not
the
there.
farm.
But
Not
like
the farm.
when
Yes,
we're out, because
there's-
like you said, there's the
there's-
skate part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right down the
Yeah.
road from our house.
I can't wait to show you up because I know how to do an
I'm
ollie.
not getting on my skateboard.
Why?
I'm spooked.
Then we can work
I'm
on.
We
a
cannot
gamer
get
girl, not a
injured.
skater
We
girl.
really want to get through the year without an injury. We're gonna try really
I have
hard.
this scar on my elbow. These are my war scars from
Ooh.
falling on a half pipe,
Ooh,
face first.
oof.
It was fun.
So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
like moving forward, like obviously, like this is established now. Like it's not gonna go away. Like this isn't
Yeah.
something like Corey has said a couple times. Like I'm afraid you guys are just gonna go away, and like this isn't gonna be a part of my life. And like, sorry.
That's the fear that I have of everything. No,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, that's not gonna happen. Like
Sorry, you're ours.
you're stuck with us. Like, you know, we want Corey to like maintain his life here. Like this is where he lives. This is where he goes to school. This is where his family is. Like,
yeah, like this is okay
are,
for anyone who's like oh, what's going to happen now? Nothing's going to change as far as like what I do. Is just I have more people that I get to talk to and annoy eventually.
Well, like, and that's the thing is that like we're not trying to do anything to like disrupt his life. Everything needs to stay the way it is.
Yeah, of course.
We just want to enrich his life. Like just it's more love. Like more people to love him, more people to care about him.
Yeah, just
encourage
more people.
him, to be there to support him in all the things he does in his life. So I mean that's the goal, and we aren't here to like cause hate and discontent by any means. So
but man, I'm trying to think. There's just been a lot with this trip and kind of rapid fire things that's happened. I mean, you went to the aquarium, we went to PAX, I brought all of you back to New Hampshire, went to my college, went to Joey's.
I loved meeting all your friends at the school, by the way. Got my hoodie on.
Yeah, you're wearing the Nashua hoodie.
I walked in, everyone's watching anime, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, when you went to Joey's, I have to ask, was Siegfried there?
No, we didn't get served by Siegfried. I was really hoping.
You went the wrong day, buddy.
Yeah. Oh man.
He did say.
I mentioned Siegfried.
He mentioned
though.
how awesome he was.
I loved him.
So.
In my world, ladies go first. Like I love him. And he whistles to all the music.
The essence of the maple tree.
But yeah, that
And
was
squirrels.
that was really like one of my favorite things too. Was just being able to go up like and drive around here, like where the places that you hang out.
I brought you to my favorite
go.
spot.
Went to his favorite spot. Like that was really cool.
Yeah.
To be able to go
Here's a
there.
picture of all of us at my favorite spot, and if unless I use it because I had an idea for the thumbnail for this one.
Did you?
It was just going to be our faces and then a framed photo of that from like when we took it. So.
That's when we figured out my phone had a timer to take pictures.
Yeah. My favorite thing of this trip was every time I tried to take a video or a picture of Whitney, she just turns and goes, No, stop! And it's the same exact cadence. It's exactly what I do, though. Like, if people point a camera to me, I'm just... Stop.
I know, like, every time I would want to take a picture, both of them would be like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
She's covered her
faces.
face for audio, so...
Anyway.
Yeah, there's probably like...
We're too similar.
So
Stop
I didn't get
copying
very
me.
many pictures of like actual faces. A lot of my pictures are
Hands.
from the back.
Yeah.
So, but they still turned out good. No, you'll know what I mean. Like
What
I'm
was
behind
that?
you guys.
What do you think? What are you thinking, Whitney? What did she mean
No,
by
I
that?
was just confused.
Oh, okay. Got it. Well, I mean, you're kind of falling asleep, too, so it's like...
I'm fine.
You sure?
No.
But no, it's just been so awesome. Like we've made so many memories, like so many firsts. What? Oh, a duck? Was that a duck?
It's the sounds of Boston.
It's just some guy...
That's all we know.
I hope
that
the
a
mic
duck?
picked that up so we could boost it a little bit.
It could be a duck. It could be a truck.
It was
It could be
sound
a
of-
person.
It's a duck with a Glock.
Guys,
Oh my god.
Right around.
sound of a truck. Mom, is that a duck?
The geese can get pretty
Wait,
violent,
Wait,
though.
wait,
The duck
wait.
and Boston
You know that?
get
You know the
pretty
butterfly
wild.
meme format? They're like, is this a pigeon? That?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going to make one with that where you're just
Do
like,
it.
is this a...
Insert here.
Yeah.
There's been
Oh.
okay. So one night we were sitting here a couple nights ago.
Oh my gosh,
And
I thought I was scared for my life.
We seriously, we were like, those are gunshots. We were like waiting. We were waiting for like police sirens.
I have a video. I have a video.
No, like
we
we
still
recorded
don't
it
know what
because-
it is.
No,
Wait,
no.
wait,
in the
wait.
middle
Play
of
the
night-
audio right now. Like,
no,
do you have your phone?
in the middle of the
Yeah.
night, Rich.
Play the
figured
audio
out-
right now.
No.
Hold it up to the
Oh.
mic.
Hold on, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
she can play it, but like Rich figured out later on, he's like, yeah, so our gunshots was the heater. Like it was a sound coming up from the heater because it's kind of an older building, but like it hasn't made that sound any other time. It was just that one night, and it was for like 2 hours.
All right.
And but I was like, it literally sounded like somebody going, like walking down the street, just like shooting their gun, and then like there would be a pause, and then they would shoot some more, and that's like we thought for sure. I'm telling the kids, I'm like, stay away from the windows, like. Whitney's like, are we in danger? I'm like, no,
No,
we're
I
good.
was like, I was fine.
Yeah.
But it was like
You
for
accepted
the
death.
first
Yeah,
little
I
while.
was like, we're fine.
Yeah, it was like, it was meant
But for
to be.
the first little while, we were just kind of like, this is crazy.
All right, like hold up to the mic and just play it.
I don't want it to be too loud.
No, don't worry. And Jake,
Okay.
insert the sounds of a duck shooting a gun. That does, though.
I'm telling you.
It's just,
And it sounded like it was coming from outside.
See, like, that's not too weird to, like, well, because, like, in Amherst, you have people who actually, like, you know, they shoot at night. Like, they have, like, whatever, like, target stuff, or they're killing people. I don't know.
There was a shooter in the Commonwealth. I've been here.
Yeah, no. Wasn't that, like, the first shooting in a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone died. Someone got injured, and that was about it.
Omar?
Oh.
Are you checking Snap right now?
No.
Okay. Just because I've been like skillfully avoiding using my phone, but then I see notifications
See,
on my.
I'm teaching you lessons.
You teach me lessons. All right. Well, I don't know what to say.
I think
That's a good one.
there you go.
Yeah. Anyways.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, he can do that.
Rich
It's-
can too. I don't get it's like.
Oh my
Whoa,
god.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
one?
Yeah. No, you need to teach me. I'm trying to
Oh
figure it
my
out.
God.
How do you do?
This podcast has gone from
From emotionally recollecting everything that happened
Guys,
to.
almost did it.
That was my water bottle. Thank goodness the cap was on.
No.
okay.
We're gonna be here for hours.
Yeah.
Might as well
no,
just cut
yeah.
the mic.
All right. Okay. Okay. So, thank you so much for being on this episode. Legitimately, this was something that I really wanted to happen ever since we got back in contact, and honestly, this trip means so much to me, and just being able to sit down and talk to both of you. It's been great, and just going around doing stuff with everyone, and just like even driving like back home at like 12 or 1, just knowing the next day I'm going to see, I know you're annoyed, but there's a little thing on the pizza box that like Whitney's just like, I need to
She.
you know what?
Rip it.
Get it out
Can I
right
rip
now.
it?
Get it out. Do it.
Hold the mic.
Oh
Do
my
it.
god.
Hold the mic.
Holding it.
Got
Oh,
it.
that was
It's gone.
satisfying.
It's gone.
But now the box is
Yeah.
messed up.
It's
now that's
fine.
gonna.
It's
Now that's
fine.
that's not okay now.
I love how I go from being sappy and then it's just like it's
Whitney
like,
just
oh,
can
you see
take.
it.
She can take the moment and suck all the sappiness out of it.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? Nah.
Just leave it
Yo.
alone.
Hold on, no.
I love you
But
guys. That's
I'm
what it comes
into
down
it.
to.
Yeah.
It's
You
just
can't
this.
see it, but this is like we have this thing that Vinny actually like brought it into the family. So there's some YouTubers, the sharers, and they do share the love. And Vinny got really into Share the Love last summer, and that was when I was doing I was heavy doing chemo treatment and stuff like that, and I wasn't home. I was gone for weeks at a time, and it was really crappy and hard. And so like Vinny started this whole thing, and now like our entire family, I have a Facebook page like that I keep people updated with my condition and how things are going.
Yeah, Lori's correct.
And like that's the thing, like that's the thing that we do is like it's the share the love, but it's the I love you.
Yeah.
And so that's like the thing. And I told Corey that was one of the things we talked about like in the very beginning is like this is how we say I love you, like when we're leaving each other.
But I'm also like
When
gang
we're-
gang. Like
Gang, gang.
Yeah, Whitney has to make it thuggy, but
gang gang.
but no, like
We out
so
here.
Hey everyone, Corey here. Whitney said a joke that Mom wasn't okay with, so we had to remove it. So let's just jump back into where they were after. All right. Anyway, you know we're derailing. I was doing a nice
yeah, this
little
thing
outro,
has
and
gone.
then we just went.
Okay,
whatever.
derailed is the exact word. Like
That's
that-
the entire time.
the name of
like,
this
we-
podcast could be
It's
like
just derailed.
Deep Thoughts and Derail.
You know what? We'll take that. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll work on the MS Paint art while
I
I'm
don't
here.
know. Anyway,
But yeah.
But no, thank you for like even like making this trip possible because like you inviting Whitney to come out to PAX, that's kind of what got the ball rolling, and then and like honestly that helped me. Like the end of my cancer treatments was so difficult. Like I literally laid in bed for a month straight. Like I was so sick, but my whole goal, like I just kept thinking I have to get stronger, I have to get better because I have to go to Boston. I have to see Corey. And that was like my, like literally there were a lot of things that motivated me, but that was like my top priority through the last like 2 months, like from December to the end of January when I ended treatment. I was like, I have to make it through this. And I was a little scared because then like when I first sure was like, okay, we're going, I was like, I didn't, I wanted to keep like,
Keep the healthy streak
yeah,
going,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't want to like be like all like, oh, now I'm fine because I know I'm going. But it really did. It like it helped me fight. Like just get through the day. Like I would just get texts from Corey, or I would like look at his pictures and just be like, I'm gonna get through today because it's one day closer to getting to him, you know. And so you've made so much of a difference in our lives. You don't even know. Like we've had a huge hole in our lives for many years, and it's just, I still cannot even believe that like we are here together and like have made memories, and that we literally get to do this for the rest of our lives. Do you know that? Like, we get to do this forever now.
I'm
It's like,
pretty
dang it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Corey has said those exact same words to me on like calls. So
Yeah, I think
it's
I did.
definitely mutual.
Yeah. Like, this is what we get to do now. Like, we get to be in each other's lives, and you just have like a lot more family to love you. So
I get to bug Whitney and Vinny and
Gosh,
and Vinny,
he
and by the
darns.
way, like, Vinny is so obsessed with you. Like, he adores you. Like, he
yeah.
when you weren't here today, like, he literally kept like going to the phone and being like, when's Corey gonna be here? Why is Corey not here? What? Like, he's like, I have my big brother. I want my big brother.
When we were
and
in
so I'm
the,
kind of sad because I feel like we're going home tomorrow, and he's probably going to like have really hard days and moments like where he's like, I want to see Corey, and why can't I go hang out with him?
we can FaceTime, we can
You
talk
know?
and things like that.
But like for a
Fun stuff.
5-year-old, I don't think he completely understands. Like, well, he lives across the country.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as just going
Yeah.
and getting it.
But-
Oh, we've got to
yeah.
go back.
But as he gets older, like through the years,
Uber.
you know. But yeah.
Uber.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he thinks he knows how to do the Uber now too.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
But
Oh no.
anyway,
But
but no.
yeah.
So
this
that's been
is
like
just
another,
fun.
you know, you and Whitney have a special connection, but like even Vinny, like even though he's so little, like he just adores Corey. Like, and he's so proud. He told everybody for weeks, like, I'm going to Boston to see my big
What about
brother.
the haircut? I
You
remember
know?
the haircut.
And the
yeah.
haircut, like, we went and got his haircut the day before we left. And the lady was, like, trying to ask him about school and, like, his friends. And, like, his answer to everything was, like, I'm going to see my big brother tomorrow. Like, my brother Corey, I'm going to see him. Like, he would just answer it, but in a different way. And it always was, I'm going to see my big brother. Like, it's just, it's cool. It's way cool.
I really need to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Great.
So
this
you guys
actually,
can keep going, but
well,
I
mean,
need to go.
I was just gonna like we're up to an hour and 20 minutes.
So,
Okay.
So I
We're
think. Do you think that's
What?
an episode?
Sure.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else that anyone wants to say, talk about.
we can always do a part 2.
Yeah, always can do a part 2 eventually. So yeah, just thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much again for letting us record and do this, because this really does mean a lot.
For sure.
And so this is technically going to be the season finale.
Okay.
And so, do you want to take a break though, for a little bit, or do you just want to be like, oh, season 2, let's go?
Sure.
Okay. We should have talked about this, but we didn't. So
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. If we
Question
don't have an episode next week, you're die. I don't know.
Whoa.
Wow.
No, that's our fan base.
Chill.
Yeah,
That's our
our
viewer
viewer-
base.
Loses like 10 subscribers.
Yeah,
Just
oh,
like-
Oh no, not
that would
10.
actually be. I would. Yeah, that's like half our audience.
No, like for anybody that's listening, like I know it's like our story, so it's really special to us. But like seriously, even when I tell this story to people, they're like, people have been like, this should have been on television. Like, this is such a crazy story. Like,
And
the
now
way,
it's on a podcast
Share
everyone
the
listens
link.
to.
the way it all went down.
Plug Ellen. Let's and I'm counting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Everybody email Ellen and be like, look at this beautiful moment. Look at the way that this little girl
Well,
squeaks when she hugs this boy.
So I know we're trying to like close it up here, but like that totally reminds me. Seriously, from 1999 until I stopped watching talk shows, I could not like get through any of the talk shows through the years that had episodes about families like being reunited with people that had been adopted and like finding each other. I would seriously just sit and bawl nonstop. I would cry and cry and cry and cry. But those stories, like, even though like it would hurt my heart, because I would do the math in my head and I'd be like, oh, I have this many more years. But like those episodes would give me hope. Like, oh, they didn't find each other for 35 years, for 40 years. Like, like
Gotta step it up.
Yeah, but seriously, like I would sit there.
I only did it in 19. Come at me.
Yeah. But seriously,
Ellen?
and I didn't have to hire a private
Pick that up.
investigator. I didn't have to hire anybody or do it like.
You're gonna hire an investigator?
No, but I'm just saying a lot of
Some
people
people do.
a lot of people have to
No, she
because
did
they
a
don't.
speed run.
Like,
Speedrun.
but no, like we did all of this just literally through the power of the internet. Like that's
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
how it all
right.
happened. Google. Google was ultimately, and Instagram was how we ended up talking, but like Google was how it happened because she found the honor roll for your high school.
Yeah.
Listed on the internet.
Shout out to Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Google.
Yeah, everybody go check out Google. They're kind
Yeah.
of an underground website,
Yeah.
you know. Not,
If you've
not a
never
whole lot
heard of
people-
them,
Very underrated.
It's spelled
Yeah.
Google.
Mom.
We don't have sponsors. We don't have the money to get plugs like this. Anyways,
All right.
thank you for listening.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And until next time, I'm Corey,
I'm Jake.
and we'll see you whenever we post another one.
Yeah.
Bye. Is it done?
Awkward silence.
I'm just doing it to see if we get anything extra.